So we spent time earlier talking about the methods of maintaining inventory. We talked about perpetual, we talked about periodic. We said the periodic method of valuing inventory or maintaining inventory was done based on a physical count. Perpetual is automatic. Now we're going to touch base on the methods of valuing inventory. The methods of valuing inventory. Maintaining it is whether we're going to take a physical count. Maintaining it is whether we're going to automatically update inventory and cost of goods sold every time there's a purchase of inventory and there's a consequence of a sale. Now we're going to put a dollar amount to it. Now we're going to value inventory, which gets us back to our earlier point where we look at goods available for sale. The definition of goods available for sale, as I mentioned to you in the earlier section, in the earlier session, is that goods available for sale represents beginning inventory plus purchases. Say that after me. Goods available for sale represents beginning inventory plus purchases. I use an example. I had one watch in beginning inventory. I purchased 10 more watches. How many watches do I have available to sell? You say 11 watches. I say you're absolutely correct. So now that I have 11 watches in inventory, I started out with one, I purchased 10, I have 11 watches available to sell. My goods available to sell equals 11 watches. I also told you to remember that goods available for sale can break into two components. It represents cost of goods sold and ending inventory. Goods available for sale also represents cost of goods sold and ending inventory. What do you mean? I got 11 watches available for sale. I sell, let's say, 5 of those watches. How many watches do I have left? 6 watches. So my goods available for sale of 11 can also provide me with the number of units sold and then the number of units left in ending inventory. This is very important when we get into this section. Understand that goods available for sale represents beginning inventory plus purchases, but it also represents the number of units that I've sold and the number of units that I have remaining in ending inventory. Where does ending inventory show up? On the balance sheet. Where were the units sold under cost of goods sold show up? On the income statement. Again, this represents what was sold on the income statement, while this represents what is left on the balance sheet. Now that we understand that concept, we can get into valuing inventory. And before we discuss valuing inventory, I want you to write these 3 methods of valuation down. One is called LIFO, L-I-F-O. The other is called FIFO, F-I-F-O. And then we have the weighted average cost method. Those are the 3 methods that we'll be covering in this section of how we put a dollar amount to inventory. LIFO, FIFO, weighted average. Please write that down and we're going to discuss that in just one moment.